जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रमा जय लड्डू गोपाल जय लड्डू गोपाल जय लड्डू गोपाल जय लड्डू गोपाल जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतधि श्रीमद् भक्ति श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतधि श्रीमद् गोस्वामी ठाकुर सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जय श्री राधा गिरिधारी की जय जय लड्डू गोपाल की जय गौर निताई की जय बलराम जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा मैया की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Jai. I am sharing that Lilamrita.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mataji, I'm started reading from the Lilamrita. It began with a Sanskrit conference, the Bundelkhand Sanskrit Sammelan, which brought to Dasi the governor of the province, K.M. Munshi, and his wife, Lilavati. An active social organizer, Lilavati Munshi had opened several branches of the Mohila Samiti Sangha, a society that aimed at socially uplifting women by teaching them secretarial skills and English. Two educated Jhansi ladies, Chandramukhi and Suryamukhi, wanted such a women's social program for Jhansi, and they took the opportunity to approach Lilavati Munshi during her visit. She inspired them, and they began to talk about where in Jhansi they could open one of her social centers. Perhaps, suggested one of the ladies, the Bharati Bhavan could be used. Although the Suryamukhi Sharma had been one of the sympathizers who had first approached Mr. Bayal on behalf of Abhay Charan De and had asked that he be given the Bharati Bhavan for his league of devotees, she felt that the lady's cause was more important. and she knew that Avoy's ownership of the building was not settled. The women agreed that the building would be an excellent facility for a Mohila Samiti Sangha branch and that their cause was more urgent than Avoy Charan's. Suryamukhi, assured of support by the governor's wife and called on A.C. Bhaktivedanta, she explained that his league of worldwide Vaishnavas would never take shape. He was a nice person and she liked him, but she did not think he could realize his extraordinary expectations. She suggested that he vacate the Bharati Bhavan so that the governor's wife could organize a women's social center. You can go here and there for the sake of building a temple, she told him. You are free to travel anywhere, but the poor women in Dasi have nothing, so they must be given this building for their use. She found him adamantly opposed. No, Avoy said, find another building. Avoy argued that his work was not just for a section of people, but for all living beings. Suryamukhi left frustrated. Avoy was surprised that a member of the League of Devotees was now working against it, and the maneuver was being backed by the governor's wife. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhupada Lilamrita ki jai. Before starting that invocation, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatu Jayam Udirayit Srinatang Shakatha Krishna Punna Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantastha hi abhadrani vidhunati suhit satam Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nittam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatir uttamasloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Hare Krishna to everyone. Please bless me to deliver this service today. And without your blessings, I am not able to do. Vancha kalpataru bhascha kripa sindhu bhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And today's verse is, just I'm sharing my screen. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, verse, chapter 21, verse 39. Just I am reading first, then you can read after me. Jat sevaya shesha guhashaya sharat vipra priyastushati kamamesharaha tadeva tadharma pare vinitai sarvatmana brahmakulam nishepatam. Jat sevaya shesha guhashaya sharat vipra priyastushati kamamesharaha tadeva tadharma pare vinitai sarvatmana brahmakulam nishevatam. Jat sevaya shesha guhashaya sharat vipra priyastushati kamamesharaha tadeva tadharma pare vinitoi sarvatmana brahmakulam nishepatam. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to recite the verse, please? Go ahead.
Yat shivaya shesha gunashaya sharat vipra priyastushtati kamam ishara tadeva tadharma pare vinitoi sarvatmana brahmakulam nishivaitam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm trying.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Shivoya Shesha Guhaya Shara Vipro Priyastashyati Kamam Sharaha Tadeva Tad Dharma Paroir Vinitoi Sharavat Manakulam Nishepaya.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. You go ahead.
Sharad Vipro Priyastusyati Kamam Ishwaraha Tadeva Tadharma Paroi Vinitoi Sarvatmana Brahmakulam Nishebhyatam.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Very nice. Would like to read someone synonyms?
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yat,
Prabhu, go ahead.
Yat, whose, Shivaya, by serving, Ashesha, unlimited, Guha Ashaya, dwelling within the heart of everyone, Sharat, but fully independent, Viprapriya, very dear to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, Tushyati, becomes satisfied, Kamam, of desires, Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tat, that, Eva, certainly, Tat Dharma Paroi, by following in the footsteps of the Lord, Vinitoi, by humbleness, Sarva Atmana, in all respects, Brahmakulam, the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, Nishevayetam, always being engaged in their service.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone would like to read the translation, please? Shama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everlastingly independent and who exists in everyone's heart, is very pleased with those who follow in his footsteps and engage without reservation in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. For he is always dear to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and they are always dear to him.
Go ahead.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
please. Yeah.
It is said that the Lord is most pleased when he sees one engage in the service of his devotee. He does not need any service from anyone because he is complete, but it is in our own interest to offer all kinds of services to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These services can be offered to the Supreme Person not directly, but through the service of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Sri Narottam Das Thakur sings, Chadiye Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payache Keba, which means that unless one serves the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, one cannot get liberation from the material clutches. Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasya Prasade Bhagavat Prasade. By satisfying the senses of the spiritual master, one can satisfy the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, this behavior is not only mentioned in scriptures, but also followed by acharyas. Prithu Maharaj advised his citizens to follow the exemplary behavior of the Lord himself and thus engage in the service of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderful verse and wonderful sloka. Before the discussion, just I am taking the blessings from Guru and Parampara. Om Agyanang Timirang Dhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandehang Sri Gurung Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Shajivam Shadvadhaitam Shabadhutam Parijana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shuti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavunebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swamin Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class, and thank you, that Shama Mataji, to giving me the opportunity to speak about the Bhagavatam, who is the Lord Krishna himself, to purify myself. And today's verse is so important, and all Prithu Maharaj instructions is very important. Just I am sharing my PowerPoint. That Srimad Bhagavatam and Canto 4, Chapter 21, Text 39, instruction by Prithu Maharaj. And today's verse is text 39. I will go to the recap a little bit for my purification. Yes, this is a very powerful message from Prithu Maharaj to his citizen, and how to be the duty of the citizens and how to worship the Lord. The previous chapter that Prithu Maharaj finished 99 Ashtamedha Yagna, and Lord appeared in his sacrificial arena, and we found this chapter how welcoming to Prithu Maharaj, and describe about the Prithu Maharaj, that physical features like Lord. Actually, he is Saptavish avatar. And Vidura wants to listen more and more from Maitreya Muni. Why? Because Prithu Maharaj's activities are so pious and so auspicious. While once Prithu Maharaj was doing yagna, he's instructing his citizens about devotional service as per their capacities, and special thanks to them, those who are already doing devotional service. And he thanked them in a humble way for engaging in devotional service and thus bestowing their mercy upon him. Other way, they help one another and are mutually benefited. Actually, I found that Shloka 37 and 38 and 39, it's describing about the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. And Shloka 37, that Her Grace Savitri Mataji described so nicely, qualities of Brahmana and Vaishnavas, and how to grow the Bhakti Lata, how to grow the Kripa through the devotional service, and how to protect to Kripa from the weeds, and especially avoid to the Vaishnava Aparad. And Shloka 38, that yesterday His Grace Poshak Madhav Prabhu has described so nicely, and mainly about that opulences, and that Lord Krishna, what to say about him. He's telling he obtained his opulences by worshipping the lotus feet of Brahmanas. Actually, we should learn from his personal behavior how to give protection to the cow. and how to cultivate Brahmanical qualities and how to respect the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Actually, Krishna is the exemplary leader. Our method of purification is whatever we say about the Krishna, we will purify ourselves. And actually, he is the evidence of Supreme Person as a Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And today's my points to discuss that Lord is Sarat, fully independent, and sitting in everyone's heart. And Lord is most pleased when he sees one engaged in the service of his devotee. And we also know that to serve Lord through Brahman and Vaishnava, and Brahman and Vaishnava is the media, and results to serve, and also the results not to serve means for Vaishnava aparadh. So this is the slok, and yes, now I will discuss about that, how that he is telling Sarat, independent. What's the meaning of Sarat? He is personally so independent that he does not require to take knowledge from anyone else. That is God. Sarat means fully independent. And Krishna is the original cause of everything, cause of all causes. But he is independent, Sarat. And that is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, and Sloka 1. Janmadiyascha jata anvayat itaratas chartheshu abhigna Sarat. Sarat means completely independent. He is not caused by anyone. And he says also in Bhagavad Gita, Matah parataram nannat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Bhagavad Gita 7.7. There is no truth superior to me. He is the origin, Vasudeva. Therefore, our all activities should be targeted to Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. 7.19 means it should be, should be our aim of life. Also, Bhagavad Gita 4.14. We see there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for these fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does. And this shloka we see, Asheshu Guha, means he is sitting in everyone's heart, and he gives special mercy on devotees. He is equal, but special mercy on devotees always. That's why he refers who loves, who serve the devotees. Devotees means Vaishnava and Brahmana. He is very pleased. Actually, Vaishnava means, yesterday, Pushak Madhav Prabhu also tells nicely the difference between Vaishnava and Brahmana. Just I am telling in one line. Actually, Vaishnava means who worships a Vishnu out of pure love, expecting nothing from him in return. And we know Brahma Janati iti Brahman, who knows Brahma, who knows absolute truth, who knows Krishna. So they are the Brahman. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells about the Vaishnava that his sloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Atebo Jahara Mukhe Eko Krishna Nam. Atebo Jahara Mukhe Eko Krishna Nam. Sheita Vaishnava Kuriho Tahara Samman. Means only once who takes the Krishna name, he is the Vaishnava. He's so Mahabadannaya. And once someone tells about the name of Krishna, so we should offer all respect to him. And we have also seen, that Brahmana and Vaishnava, they are guider for human society. And Brahmanical culture is the essential to know the science of God. And here, that Krishna is telling, I am not independent, Sarat. But next verse, I will show you how he depend on devotees' love. And in this sloka is that from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter 463. Lord is completely under the control of his devotees. He is not independent. It's quite, it means contradictory sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Bhakta Paradhino Hi Ashatantra Eva Dija Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhaktere Bhakta Janapriya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent because my devotees are completely devoid of material desire. I sit only within the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. So he is telling here that I am not at all independent. Actually, in this para, quite similar with today's verse, and from this para, I found that so many great personalities in this universe, like Brahma and Shiva, they are fully under control of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Can anyone give the answer? Why the Supreme Personality Godhead is fully under the control of his devotees? Just I'm telling. But because the devotee is anna abhilasita shunna, means the devotee has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How to serve him, how to please him, how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of devotees. Hence, Srila Prabhupada has written in that purport, Srila Narottama Das Thakur says, Chhariya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paiyache Keva. Means without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material engagement. Without serving a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as a Gopi Bhartur Padakamalur Dasha Dashanu Dasha. Means servant of the servant of the servant. Thus, he instructed us to become not directly servant of Krishna, but servants of the servant of Krishna. Devotees like Brahma, Narad, Vasudev, and Shukdev Goswami are actually directly servants of Krishna. And one who becomes the servant of Narada, Vyasadev, and Shukdev, like the six Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vaishnath Chakravarti also says in this purport, Jasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado. Every day we sing when we do the Mangal Arati, Guru Ashtakam. If one very sincerely serves the spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable. To such a devotee, following the instruction of a devotee is more valuable than following the instruction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the next sloka, also we found Lord Krishna is revealing one of the great secrets, the most intimate of the divine feelings of his heart. He is explaining that the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. Would like to read anyone this sloka, 9468?
I'll try, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Sadhavo hridayam mad mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham mad anyat tena jananti naham tebhyo managapi. Thank you, Mataji.
Translation, please. Yeah.
Translation. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything else but them. Thank you, Mataji.
So nice. Bhakta and Bhagavan. This is the most intimate of the divine feelings of his heart, the Krishna's heart. This experience, pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of pure devotee. And that's why we found in also Bhagavad Gita 9:26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam jo me bhakta prayachati tadham bhakta apurhitam asnami prayatatmanaha. Means if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit of water, asnami, I will accept it. Also, I found from that from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhaktir drabya prabhu kari kari khai, abhaktir drabya prabhu uloti na chai. Means Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu snatches the food from his devotee to eat. And he did not even look from any objects from non-devotees. We found from that how that love for Sudama Brahman, how in his childhood, when he used to go to the field with the cows, how he taking the laddus from the other mouth. Bhakti drabya prabhu kari kari khai. And if devotee offered to him by love, so he accept, like Vidur mother, he gave him to the banana skin, and Lord accepted. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went once as a guest to Jagadananda Pandit, and Jagadananda Pandit, he served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased. Then Jagadananda Pandit is asking, what is your instruction for me, Prabhu? Please tell me, give me your advice. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, Krishna name kirtan ar Vaishnava seva ei matro chai. Samsar janite ar kono bostu nai. Means only do the Krishna name, kirtan, and service to the Vaishnava. Only I want these two things. And in this material world, nothing is there. Only this Krishna Nam and Kirtan and Vaishnava Seva. Only this one I need. Then also we found in that last Sunday, that Bhakti Vinod Thakur disappearance day, how nice bhajans who Bhakti Vinod wrote. He wrote about the more than 100 books. And it's so meaningful that my next slide, it's Bhakti Vinod has Thakur written. And Lord is very pleased in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. And this is the Srila Prabhupada's script. And Srila Prabhupada is giving the instructions and all devotees are listening. Then Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Bhakata Sheva Paramo Siddhi Premoloti Karo means Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu. So meaningful. The dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, enthusiastic devotional service, and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the kripa of devotion, Premoloti Karmul. And also Narottama Das Thakur has says in the next one that Tadero Charano Shebi Bhakta Shanibas Janame Janame Hoy Ei Obhilash. To serve the Lord and the servants of his servants in the association of devotees is the only object of a pure unalloyed devotee. Actually, our devotee should, means we should always aspire to live in the association of advanced devotees and engage in the service of the Lord through the Parampara system, which we do. One should share the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the instruction of the great Goswamis of Vrindavan. This is called actually Tadero Charano Seva, Tadero Charano Sebi. While serving the lotus feet of the Goswamis, one should live in the association of devotees, means Bhakti Shanivas, Bhakta Shanivas. This is the actually business of our devotee, business of us. A devotee should not aspire for material profit or lament for material loss. And we know that from Chitraketu, that from chapter, when Angira Rishi and Narada Muni saw that Maharaja Chitraketu, an advanced devotee, and fallen in the darkness of ignorance, and was lamenting for the material body of his son when his one son is died. But by their causeless mercy, they came to advise him so that they could be saved from this ignorance. Means Vaishnava and Brahmana is so merciful, they can go anywhere. And Chitraketu was pure devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also tells, Mor bhakto nahi puje, more puje matro, se nahi mor prasadero patro. Means my devotee who worship only me and not serve my devotees, he will not get my mercy. So powerful message from that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised to us that Jibe daya name ruchi Vaishnava sevana, iha chhada dharma nahi, shuno Sanatano. Sanatan Goswami, he advised to Sanatan Goswami, oh Sanatan, listen, kindness to all living beings, taste for the holy name and serve to Vaishnavas. Apart from this, there is no other religion. Iha chhada dharma nahi, shuno Sanatan. Actually, one has a taste for the holy name, one develops more compassion for the jivas. When one becomes free from offenses to the Vaishnavas, then that spirit rendering genuine service to the Vaishnava avek. It's happened, we are seeing in our life, and all that sannyasi, all that pure devotee, those who are advising, we are realizing. Then next slide, also Narottama Das Thakur's, that two I have given from the Prarthana. This is continue how that Lord is very pleased in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Narottama Das Thakur glorifies the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari and seeks her mercy. Sri Rupa Manjari pada, Shei Mara Sampada, Shei Mara Bhajana Pujana, Shei Mara Pranadhana, Shei Mara Abharana, Shei Mara Jivanara Jivan. Means the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure, my devotional service, and my object of worship. They give my life meaning, and they are the life of my life. And this is the prayer to the Vaishnava from Prarthana. Anyone would like to read the next one? This is also very meaningful. Go ahead, Prabhu.
গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পশ্চাতে পাবন, দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার গুণ। হরিস্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরিনাম, তোমার স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ।
Thank you, Prabhu. So meaningful. Means after bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified. But just by the sight of you means the Vaishnavas, the fallen souls are purified. This is the great power of the Vaishnavas. And the holy names delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, means to you Vaishnava and Brahmana, There is no means of deliverance. So from these verses we found what's the result to please of the Lord's devotees. Actually, for tomorrow's class, that verse 40 is will be describing about that the results to serve the Vaishnavas. But just I'm touching upon. So if you show the respect to the Lord's devotees, that that will capture the Lord's heart with gratitude and devotion to the sentiment of yours, means the Lord will be very pleased. That's why we say every day, Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Jasya prasadat nagoti kutohopi. If we please the spiritual masters, we get the complete mercy of Krishna with our life. But if we displease the Guru, we cannot get the mercy of Krishna in our life. So you can travel throughout, means you can travel throughout all of creation, you will not find it. And now I will discuss about if we don't serve the Vaishnavas, if we criticize the Vaishnavas, means Vaishnava aparad. That day that Savitri Mataji discussed nicely about that Durvasa Muni, we all know about that. He committed Vaishnava aparad, and the result is 1 full year had to travel all over the universe, even to Vaikuntha Loka. So therefore, one should be very careful about committing offense at the feet of Vaishnava. The next one is Ramchandra Khan was a great offender at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava and Vishnu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also described how Haridas Thakur was tested at Benapala, a village near Shantipur. A person named Ramchandra Khan, who actually was very envious of Haridas Thakur, sent a professional prostitute to attempt to defame him to Haridas Thakur. But by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, that prostitute was delivered. And because of offending a pure Vaishnava, Ramchandra Khan was later cursed by Nityananda Prabhu and ruined. This is the result. And we know that an offense to a pure devotee is one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. Isn't it? The first offense is to blaspheme the great devotees who have dedicated their lives to spread the glories of holy name all over the world. So we should always remember. The offense of Gopala Chapala, I found from that His Holiness Adhanath Swami's lecture. Actually, he was that Gopal Chapala, his name was, and he decided to disgrace the Srivas Thakur because he was also envious of him. And we know that Srivas Thakur Angan, every day that Kirtan was going on. And so what he did, the Gopal Chapal, he put in front of the house of Srivas Thakur the paraphernalia of the Durga Mata. Means that he put that wine and the other Durga's paraphernalia. So when Srivas Thakur arose in the morning, he came outside and he saw that what was done in his frontier, and he did not hide. He called all the people of the town and told, you see, I am worshipping goddess of Durga at night secretly. Now you should all know that actually I am just a tamoguni, in mode of ignorance. I really have no devotion to Krishna. Otherwise, I would not be doing these mysteriistic forms of tantrism. Actually, of course, nobody believed it. Then after that, the effects of the Gopala Chapala within days came down with infectious, severe case of leprosy. So in this case, he was forced out of his home and out of the village. He was living alone on the banks of the Ganges, some distance away, and suffering horribly. And one day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing by, and Gopala Chapala came and began to beg the Lord, please, please, I take shelter of you, help me out. of this horrible, painful, suffering condition of life. I surrender to you, O Lord. I am now your devotee. Please save me, because he is in severe pain. But then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at him with eyes like fire. Why he's like this fire? Because he has committed an offense to his dear devotee Srivas Thakur. So what he did, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, he cursed that for the next tens of millions of births, you only suffer this type of pain. So horrible. And then the Lord walked away, left this man alone, drowning in his own offense. And after that, sometime later, it was quite a while after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was again passing that way. And this time Gopalachapal was actually very, very humble. He fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and said, I deserve much worse than what I have done to your devotee. How can I possibly atone for the offense I have committed to your devotee? I understand now how dear your devotee is to you. How dear your devotee is to you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have no power to forgive you. Only my devotee has the power to forgive you. So Gopala Chapala went to the house of Srivas Thakur, and with a sincere and truly repentant heart, he fell at his feet and begged him, please forgive me. Actually, of course, Srivas Thakur never accepted the offense in the first place, but the Lord does. Then when Srivas Thakur simply gave his blessings, he was cured of his leprosy. Not only he cured the Gopala Chapala of his leprosy, but he was cured of his envy for the devotees. He also became a great devotee of the Lord. And we know about that, we heard about that, the mad elephant offense. The mad elephant offense that Srila Prabhupada wrote, he explains, against offense against Vaishnava are mad elephant offense. Even if after years and years and years, we develop so many spiritual qualities, then can all be vanquished if we seriously commit an offense to a devotee. Just as after years and years of growing a beautiful garden, if you allow a mad elephant into the garden, how long does it take to destroy everything? It is only a matter of seconds. This is why it is called mad elephant offense. Therefore, within Shastra, it is explained how extremely careful one must be not to commit offense to the devotees. Then so many examples are there. The offense of Devanand Pandit, and I heard from that His Grace Gauranga Das. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is explained that there was a devotee of the name of Devananda Pandit, and he was a great scholar, and he was teaching Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, one time in Srivas Thakur came to the class. When he heard one of the slokas, he transcendental ecstasy. He began to shone and he fell unconscious. And Devananda Pandit and his disciples, they did not understand the sweetness of pure love of God. So they thought he was some sort of pretender and that he was just some sort of a sickly person. What they do then? Sorry. So they picked him up and abusively brought him outside and left him outside. And it is described that for years and years and years, Devananda Pandit was not allowed to become Krishna conscious, but he had to suffer. Until at last, because of his repentant forgiveness before the feet of Srivas Thakur, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgave him. So whoever we are, do not think you are the above this principle. So it is the most important principle for our spiritual advancement. Then one more. It's very nice to know for our development to the sharp Vaishnavas. and not to do the offense. Longed for powers but lost lives. That Jada Bharat story. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, but he acted like a dull man extremely. To avoid materialistic association, he used to play like a dull man. Once he was caught by a group of dacoits who intended to sacrifice him in front of goddess Kali to get some material powers. As a part of their concocted ritual, they tried to behead Jada Bharat with a sword. And Jada Bharat didn't do anything to retaliate against the dacoits. But Mother Kali, however, could not tolerate this offense to a Vaishnava because she was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and that's why called she is a Vaishnavi. Her deity broke open and she manifested personally in front of the dacoits and chopped off the heads of her so-called devotees with her sword. That is the result of offense to a devotee. A devotee may tolerate offense against oneself, but not an offense committed against another devotee. So offense to a devotee pains the heart of the Lord and his other devotees too. And this is the last I will try to finish. That criticism that led to material desires, that Ramachandra Puri, we know about that. This in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The great Saint Madhavendra Puri, we know who is Madhavendra Puri. The Ishwar Puri's spiritual master. Actually, he was in the last stage of life. That Ramchandra Puri was also his disciple. And he was chanting Krishna's holy name and crying, "Oh Lord, when shall I get your shelter?" Without understanding his loving feelings of separation of Krishna, that his disciple Ramchandra Puri foolishly and fearlessly instructed him, "Why are you crying? You should remember Brahman." And Madhavendra Puri, he's so angry, rebuked him, and he told, "Get out, you sinful rascal. I am dying without achieving Krishna's shelter. Now this condemned fool has come to instruct me about Brahman." And another disciple, what I told, Ishwar Puri, served Madhavendra Puri during his last days and become an object of his heartfelt blessings and became a great lover of Krishna. On the other hand, due to his offense to Guru, Ramchandra Puri gradually developed material desires and became critical. Later, he even criticized the eating habits of Lord Chaitanya, whose character was flawless. He thus tormented all the associates of Lord Chaitanya who considered him a burden on their heads. So from this criticize, we should know offense towards gurus and great devotees led to material desires and impersonalistic tendencies and inclination to criticize Vaishnavas. And also we know the how Duryodhan, for his greed, that ruined the family. So these are the all offenses. But how to recover from offenses to Vaishnava, that we should also know, because sometimes it's happened with us. So how to recover, we should know as well. This is from Mahabhagavad Das. He has told, if we offend someone, then we should do our best to try not to repeat that offense. Try not to repeat that offense, number one. Number two, beg forgiveness with a sincere heart, falling at the feet of the person who we offended. Number three, wholeheartedly serve the person we offended with our words and deeds and glorify the person we offended. Never forget that we offended someone and that we could do that again. Always be careful and increase our service to them and with them. Number six, remain in Krishna consciousness and following the process of devotional service. Chant Hare Krishna more sincerely. In this regard, I would like to that share one story that how two devotees, they feel that they have offense and how they greet themselves. And this is that story from that in Vrindavan, that Rupa Goswami. One day, Sri Rupa Goswami sat wrapped in meditation, feeling great bliss in his heart. When he was sitting in his samadhi, he observed a wonderful pastime. The gopis were decorating Srimati Radharani, while Krishna stood behind her watching. And Krishna revealed his presence to the Sakhis and bringing an increasing festival of joy to their hearts. But Radharani was unaware that he was there. In many wonderful ways, the gopis braided and decorated Radha's hair. Then they placed a mirror her, and she gazed at the beauty of her own face. Then Radharani also saw Sri Krishna's moon-like face in the mirror. So Radha became very shy and quickly covered herself with her cloth. See, this pastime was seeing the Sri Rupa Goswami. The gopis happily laughed at this, and also Srila Rupa Goswami also joined in their laughter. Just that moment, that same moment, a Vaishnava arrived who was very eager to see Rupa Goswami. Seeing Rupa Goswami is laughing, the Vaishnava did not say anything, but feeling very sorrowful in his heart. He went to see Srila Sanatana Goswami. Actually, according to the tradition of Vrindavan, this Vaishnava was a famous devotee named Krishna Das. His name is Krishna Das. It is said that Krishna Das was lame and unable to walk, and that when Rupa Goswami laughed, Krishna Das thought that he was laughing at his disability. The Vaishnava told Sanatan, I went to Sri Rupa, but when he saw me, he suddenly burst into laughter, and my heart filled with sorrow. I don't know why he acted in that way. I did not say anything, but came to ask you about it. Then Sri Sanatan, he knows everything. Then he explained the true reason for Rupa Goswami, his laughter. Hearing this, the Vaishnava became repentant and hurt. And he is thinking, I have done some Vaishnava aparad. Lamenting greatly, the Vaishnava said, why did I approach him at that moment? Not understanding his heart, I have offended him. The Vaishnava became very agitated. Sanatana Goswami pacified him and made him peaceful again. And meanwhile, when the Vaishnava had felt offended, Srila Rupa Goswami suddenly lost his vision of the Lord's pastimes. He became very disturbed and looked everywhere. Considering the situation carefully, he concluded that someone must have come to see him while he was absorbed in seeing Krishna's pastimes. He did not honor the person who came, and thereby I committed an offense. Thinking in this way, Rupa also went to Sanatana Goswami's place. When he saw Rupa Goswami coming, that Vaishnava approached him. Falling on the ground, he offered his respects with great humility. He told Rupa, oh great soul, I have committed an offense to you. Please forgive me. Previously, when I went to see you, I did not understand that you were wrapped in meditation. So how to deal with the two devotees without Vaishnava offense? Now, standing before Srila Rupa Goswami, the Vaishnava prayed, please be kind and forgive me for my offense. If you are merciful to me, only then can my heart become peaceful. When he heard these words, Srila Rupa Goswami became very agitated at heart. He also falling to the ground, he offered respectful obeisances to that Vaishnava. Folding his hands, he said, I have no power to say how great was the offense that I committed to you. Please kindly forgive me. So both the devotees were very humble and both were filled with bhakti rasa, forgiving each other. They both became peaceful. The two of them, they went to Srila Sanatana Goswami. And for a long time, they all plunged into relishing nectarian topics of Lord Krishna. That should be that devotee's heart. When they do the offense, they to forgive each other. And in this here, I am finishing with last that the translation I am repeating again, and that the pure devotee in the first this one, Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam to ayam mad anayatena jananti nayam tippo managopi. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. This is from Krishna himself. So this is very powerful and confidential message for us. So I conclude here. Thank you, Hare Krishna. If you have any realization and if you have any questions, please ask me and share your realization. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
What a beautiful class. Mentioning that one is what is that incomplete without the others. So that is the message you are trying to give us, and that is what it is. Bhakta and Bhagavan, they are two completely connected one. One is unfilled with the other one. Without these two, nothing happens. So all the discussion and the points you have mentioned, everything relates to these two words, Bhakta and Bhagavan. So one is incomplete with the others. That's why here it is said, the ever independent Lord is very pleased with those who follow his footsteps, Tat Dharma Paroi, and serve with all their hearts, the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, Sharva Atmana Brahma Kulam Niveshaya, who are very dear to him, and vice versa. So this is the message you try to give us, and that is the real thing. We need to understand that one cannot be fulfilled with the another, and all these examples carried out gives the real picture that Bhakta and Bhagavan, they are inseparable. So the Vaishnava and Brahmana, as you mentioned, they are the topmost people who are actually always in the mood of thinking Krishna. So they are inseparable part of Krishna. That's why we need to be very, very careful in dealing with Vaishnava and Brahman. Because making any aparadh can make our life hell. So this Vaishnava aparadh, as you mentioned about the examples, Durvasha Muni, Ramchandra Khan, Gopala Chapala, Mad Elephant, Devananda Pandit, Jadabhara, Ramchandra Puri, Duryodhan. These are the examples that tells us to be very careful when dealing with the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. It's very, very important. And also, if it is once done, aparadh, and how to recover from that. That is very, very important part for us to know, because we don't know. We often do the aparadh, knowingly or unknowingly, but the don'ts should be known very carefully. That's why try not to repeat the offenses again. Beg forgiveness directly to whom you have done the offense, and wholeheartedly accept. Do not repeat the offense. Increase your devotional service. Remain in the conscious and chant holy name. That will help us to recover from this opera slowly and slowly. Not by overnight, but it will help us to come out of this aparat stage. And thus, all we have from this today, because when you start everybody will start the class, we take the blessings from the pure Vaishnavas, and that is the lineage we need to follow, because without their mercy you can't reach Krishna. So to reach Krishna, this is the source. That's why every time we follow the same process, and that is the process to achieve the love of Lord through his devotees, not directly. That's why in Vaishnava Aparat, out of 10, the last one, to have complete faith in chanting the holy names and to maintain material attachment, even after understanding
So
the instruction on this matter, it is very, very important message. If we do keep on doing this, there is no chance to get elevation. So it's very, very important message from this text. To be in Krishna consciousness, we need to follow the maintenance of not doing the aparat against Vaishnava and his devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. You nicely summarized. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any other comments? If it's no comments, we can.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for the very nice class, particularly bringing out the importance of the devotees and the Lord and the relationship between them. And this beautiful feature of the Lord and his devotees, which the devotee enjoys, is absent for those who are Mayavadis. They cannot see the personal form of the Lord, so they're deprived of the mercy of the Lord in that way which a Vaishnava can get. He is every moment thinking of the Lord and doing service for the Lord and always remain associated with the Lord. And in this way, he is always happy, as against the Mayavadis who try to merge themselves with the Brahma feature of the Lord. And ultimately at one time they fall down from that level because of the inactivity of the soul. And the other thing you have nicely pointed out, that we should always be very careful how to deal with the Vaishnavas. We should not commit any offense, and if unknowingly also it happens, we should immediately try to rectify ourselves so that we never do it again and follow the mercy of and beg the mercy of the against whom we have committed the offense. Even unknowingly, we should always remain free from that, so that we get the mercy of the Vaishnavas, from all of Vaishnavas. And in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also told that of the three important things of his teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Name Ruchi, the Holy Nam,
Harinam Vaishnava Seva.
and Vaishnava Seva. Unless we serve the Vaishnavas, we have no way of improving our level of transcendental level to go higher in the devotional service. So we should always do that. You have very nicely pointed out today's class. So thank you once again for that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, reminding this one. And this one I missed one, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Yeah, Jive Daya Name Ruchi and Vaishnava Seva. Yeah, thank you. And we can conclude here. It's 8:33, and this is my opportunity to beg for that Vaishnava Aparad. If I do any offense, please forgive me. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Anandini Mataji ki
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.